Thank you for joining us this afternoon. My name is Paul Koretz, and I'm the member of the City Council from the 5th District. I'm joined today by Los Angeles Police West Traffic Captain Elaine Morales and Lieutenant Lonnie Tiano to announce an e-scooter enforcement task force here in City Council District 5. We've been out for more than an hour walking, driving, and citing scooter riders that are riding illegally, particularly with the violation of riding on sidewalks. That is the most dangerous violation because you have the possibility of knocking over pedestrians. And there are still many injuries that are related to scooters. I talk to ER doctors that tell me there's usually at least a scooter injury in almost every shift in the ER. A lot of them are pedestrians that get knocked over, particularly senior citizens that are vulnerable. And so we've gotten the scooter companies to write no riding on scooters on their scooters, and everybody knows, and still many people are violating it. So the message is today, we are cracking down on scooter violations. If you're riding 3 people to a scooter, you will get a ticket. If you're riding on the sidewalk, you will get a ticket. So you know what the violations are. It's time to stop. And we're not just doing this today. We will be doing this every day until we get the message out. If you're going to ride a scooter, ride it safely, especially for the safety of pedestrians. There are a lot of areas that are heavily walked, particularly on Fairfax, particularly on Melrose and Beverly Drive and 3rd Street in my district. We've even had warning decals put onto the sidewalk. So if you can't read your own scooter, you will drive by and see one of these after another. So there's no question, everybody knows it's illegal, but not everybody obeys the law yet. So the tickets are at the present time pretty close to $200 a violation. This is serious money, this is serious enforcement, and we are trying to protect the lives and the safety of our residents that are on those sidewalks. So I appreciate the cooperation of the LAPD, which are doing a great job in enforcement. And now I'd like to hear from Officer and Traffic Captain Elaine Morales.
Good afternoon. My name is Captain Elaine Morales from West Traffic Division. And just like Councilmember Koretz had mentioned, e-scooters, our primary focus is to always make sure that the public is safe, whether you're a pedestrian, an e-scooter rider, or driving a vehicle. With that said, and looking at a few of our numbers this year for 2019, if you look at our overall total traffic collisions that involve motor scooters, e-scooters, 50% of those riders were at fault. If you look at our traffic enforcement section, 50% of our traffic enforcement citations that we've written so far this year are folks that are riding on the sidewalk. So my message today is we'll always educate the public, educate the riders, work collaboratively with all the many entities, whether it's Bird, Lime, Wheels. But at the end of the day, it's about make sure you ride your scooter on the street, not on the sidewalk. Make sure you have a valid driver's license. Make sure that you do obey all the laws of the road, especially in the city of Los Angeles. If you have one scooter, you're only allowed to ride the one scooter. There are no passengers on that. Please wear a helmet. However, the helmet law is not a law, but it is for your safety. And most importantly, be safe to avoid any ticket. At this time, I'd like to give this conference over to Lieutenant Lonnie Tiano, and he will discuss how our operation went today.
Okay, Lonnie Tiano from West Traffic Division. I'm one of the lieutenants there. Today's operation, you all may wonder, why are we here and why are we here today? Well, in working in conjunction and collaboration with the Council District Office and Councilman Koretz, we've identified this general area as one area within the city that has seen some issues regarding the e-scooters. So we opted to have this area where we're going to focus our attention with the violations that Captain Morales has identified and spoken of. And one of the things that Councilmember Koretz mentioned, he was adamant, if you ride 3 to a scooter, you're going to get a ticket. Captain Morales corrected him before I got the opportunity to, because there are no passengers. Not 1 passenger and not 3. So we are here because of that collaboration. We began at 11 o'clock. We have roughly 15 motorcycle officers and 2 motorcycle sergeants assigned to this detail. It will run till 7 or so this evening, give or take. And we are focusing, we're not targeting anybody, we are focusing our attention on scooters and scooter riding. Whether it's a scooter rider making a violation of any kind of law, or the cars that are violating the laws, putting the scooter riders who are riding lawfully at risk. So that is our operation. I don't have any raw numbers to give you as to what we've done today, because it is still ongoing. We'll get that tabulated at the end of the day and we'll share it at that point. I will open it up to anybody who has questions. And Councilman, I'll let you take the podium.
One thing I do want to add is that we're not just enforcing first. We've done a lot to educate the public, and we've gotten some response. So I believe there are fewer people than we were seeing on the sidewalks, fewer people riding 2 to a scooter, 3 to a scooter, blowing through intersections without stopping or even slowing down. But there are still plenty of people violating. So we need to take the next step, and for their own safety and for the safety of the public, dramatically increase our enforcement.
Let me ask you something. People who are being stopped, as this was going on, I noticed one of the motorcycle officers stopped about 3 people who were on scooters on the sidewalk. Is it a matter of, if you are caught today in this area riding, you're going to get a ticket?
You will get a ticket today, and you will get a ticket anywhere we are enforcing. There's no reason to give a warning. People know already that they're in violation. They know if there are 3 people to a scooter, they're in violation. And if you look at the scooters, most companies, if not all of them, have written on the scooter, no riding on sidewalks. And you can't miss it. You look down when you get on, there it is. So people have decided proactively to violate. And we've tried what we can to educate them. It's worked to some degree, but this is the next step, to let people know they actually will get a ticket. It's not an inexpensive ticket either. This is something serious, but it's honestly for their own good.
And is it 200 per violation, or does it start lower and go up, or is it 200 per violation period?
Well, the amount of violation, of the dollar amount of violations isn't static. It may change, so I don't want to speak to the exact number, but right now that's the number. Close to 200, just under. 197 is the exact amount at the moment.
197?
Yes.
And what's the offense, riding on the sidewalk?
It depends on what they're violating, but the primary thing that we're focusing on is riding on a sidewalk, especially where there are a number of frail senior citizens, and they can be greatly injured, and they have been, by scooters that bump into them.
How long has the task force been together? Is this like a launch of it?
Well, I think we're really focusing on it from this moment forward. I can't tell exactly when we started, so.
Back to that question, ma'am. Today is a specific scooter traffic task force enforcement. However, scooters are one of my top 3 priorities here in West Bureau to, again, not only to educate, but also imply those traffic enforcement pieces across the board.
What are your other 2?
My other 2 are speed violators and pedestrians.
You feel like all of this attention that we're giving the scooters right now, maybe a bit of all of this attention that we're giving the scooters right now, perhaps let that guy go by. Perhaps a little bit overblown compared with the fact that we have so many people that are dying in traffic collisions involving motor vehicles, over 200 a year, and we have yet to see a fatality caused by a scooter.
Again, sir, we were trying to take that proactive approach so that that does not occur.
Captain, I've got records on all scooter violations passed since they were initiated. There was maybe 14 to 20 citations last July, 200 some this July. Why the increase citywide? It's just you guys are more proactive, so you know more of the problem.
It's a combination, sir, of being proactive, but also with the amount of scooter riders we have in West Bureau. Like I said, approximately, so far year to date, we've had approximately 200 citations, and half of those citations were given out to riders that were riding on the sidewalks in West Bureau.
Have we seen a similar increase in other bureaus around the city?
I haven't seen that increase, no, sir. I want to say West Bureau is probably the busiest due to the nature, and the bureau is different and specific.
I mean, and there are a lot of questions about safety with scooters. I believe there have been a couple people who have died on scooters in Los Angeles. I know it's occurred across the country, so we have crossed that threshold. There are a lot of scooter riders themselves that are injured as well, sometimes with flaws to the equipment, braking in usage, and the scooter riders go flying. Sometimes in accidents with pedestrians, where the pedestrians are harmed and the riders are harmed. This is a risky activity, so we want to be sure at the very least that the most unsafe practices are eliminated, and without a doubt the worst is riding on sidewalks, especially in areas that are heavily populated by pedestrians, which is this area.
So, I know you said from this day forward, so you got the task force together, they're out here today in this general area from 11 to 7. Are they going to be doing this on a regular basis moving forward? Is that what this task force is all about?
I am encouraging that focus, so I hope to the extent possible we can do this aggressively, and hopefully if the word gets out that you can get a good-sized ticket if you ride on the sidewalks, people will stop riding on the sidewalks. The goal isn't to write the tickets. The goal is to get the word out and to get people to halt the most dangerous practices.
So in other words, keep the task force in place until people can get the message.
Exactly.
Does this also apply to the motorized bikes that I see around here? Not the scooters?
Yes, I think the same rules
Yes.
apply to all the motorized bicycles.
So you're handing out tickets to people on e-bikes?
Yes.
Yes.
If they're on the sidewalk and they're zipping along, they'll get a ticket.
So what about signs? If you're gonna put a sign, extra sign, or
You want to talk about the stencils? You want me
Well,
to-
we have stencils on the sidewalk, so I can't actually see it because everybody's here, but I know there's a stencil on the sidewalk. People as they drive by see it as a reminder, and they have it on their scooters themselves. So it would be hard for anyone to claim that they didn't know, but I think they need to know that there are also consequences, and that's part of the important message we're getting out today. It's dangerous anyway, and there are consequences to them.
would anyone else
I just
like
have
to
one more.
ask a question?
I'll let you.
One more.
Okay.
Councilmember
Okay.
Paul.
Yes, ma'am.
Is this easier than banning the use of e-scooters on the street?
Is this what?
Is putting a ticket easier than just banning the use of the e-scooter?
Oh, I should answer that one.
Actually, it's the education piece, just like the council member had said, but the other piece is obviously a ticket. So are there always better ways to continually educate our riders? Yes, there are, and there are a few other options that we're still looking at. Because at the end, we're trying to make everyone safe.
And if I could add something to that.
Yes.
Personally, I question whether there's a way to make these e-scooters completely safe. I think they're also somewhat dangerous to the riders when they're in the street as well. And I actually voted to ban them when the city council took up this issue. But if we're going to have them, we at least want to ride them as safely as possible. And particularly people that aren't the riders on scooters, that are just innocent pedestrians walking along on a commercial street, they shouldn't have to confront this issue, you know, in their unexpected daily lives. I mean, I've had to do it myself, where I've had a scooter coming right at me and I had to dive behind a desk that was illegally displayed in a furniture store to protect myself. If I didn't see it coming, if I was a senior citizen that wasn't that mobile, I probably would have been hit. And a lot of people are. Everywhere I go, I get complaints from people that have been harmed by e-scooters. And so we at least want to make sure that people aren't harmed without it being of their own volition. If you ride a scooter, you recognize it's a risk and you choose to do it, but at least you have to do it safely.